First, President Camille, Vice President Kanai, members of the Cabinet, trustees, faculty, staff, students, family, and friends. I first want to thank you for the opportunity to give some brief remarks on this very happy occasion. I also want to shout out to my traditional undergraduate students. It's really great to see you in a familiar setting, face to face, but at least now without a hat on your head, slippers on your feet, AirPods in your ear, or your phone in your hand. Welcome to the real world. First, though, seriously, congratulations to every one of you Laurel awardees, and to your parents, and to the dozens of others, whether related by blood, marriage, or friendship, who made it possible for you to earn this distinction. You are indeed a distinguished group tonight. 4 million students will graduate from college and university in the United States this year, about 400,000 from faith-based institutions, still less from Catholic colleges, fewer still from those whose mission is based on the Dominican charism. Tonight, you are each rightly heralded as among our best and brightest. And I know that this was no easy task. In Plato's Meno, there was probably a bet of how long it would take me to mention Plato and back. It was quick. Yeah, I had a book on that. In Plato's Meno, which a handful of you here read with me this past term, Socrates asserts that there are two ways to learn, by remembering and by recollecting. He criticizes the argument that learning is memorizing what others have said as an argos logos, a lazy way of learning. Socrates contrasts this kind of learning with a hagios logos, a holy logos. The holy way of learning, Socrates asserts, requires effort and toil. It seems finding the truth about things among all the opinions is very hard work. This award suggests that you are not lazy memorizers, that you have done the hard work. So be proud of what you have accomplished. But despite what people say, do not view this as the end of your education. It is only one important step in what must be a lifetime of learning. Now wait, I'm supposed to tell you that you have an education that's practical in its application. The voices, probably your family's voices, are saying that you must leave this place now and do something. Create some wealth, right some wrongs, end some suffering. You might even expect me to quote Bobby Kennedy, who once memorized and repeated a line from a George Bernard Shaw play called Methuselah. It was a play that attempted to rewrite the Pentateuch. Shaw wrote there, "Some men see things as they are and say why. I dream things that never were and say, why not?" It's a visionary call to change the world. You'll hear a lot about that. But I'm not going to do that for you tonight. I come to you with a different message. Don't try to change the world, because you can't, no matter how smart you think you are. Don't repeat the mistake of Adam and Eve, tempted by a serpent who promised them the power to remake a world God created. In fact, that quote about changing the world that so many love for its visionary appeal was put by Shaw into the mouth of the serpent in his retelling of the Genesis story. It was horrible advice then, and it still is. Our mission is broader than that. But the lazy memorizers wouldn't know that about that quote because they never read the book. They just repeat it because they would rather try to change our world than have to change their own mind. You might be thinking, well, Professor, then what should we do when we leave? Ignore the need for financial security, allow injustice to persist, turn a blind eye to the suffering of so many? No, that's not what we expect of you at all. Your education has surely prepared you to act for good in this world, but leaving it there would mean your education is merely vocational. Our mission also commits us to the idea that history is not a meaningless struggle for power. It is also a personal search for truth in all its dimensions. You must not only act in the world, you must also try to understand it, interpret it, search it. We have tried to teach you, I hope, how to search the signs and wonders of the world for the meaning that precedes what we do here. Let me explain. When Jesus visited Martha and Mary in Bethany, Martha spent all her time in the kitchen cleaning up and preparing the meal. Meanwhile, Mary sat at the feet of Jesus, listening. This exasperated Martha, as you could imagine, and she complained to Jesus, "Lord, do you not care that I have been left to do all the work? Tell her to help me." Jesus answers, "Martha, Martha, that's my favorite part of that. Martha, Martha, you are worried and anxious about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen the better part, and it shall not be taken from her." Martha represents the active life. It's super important. Without it, we wouldn't have lunch. And as my dad said when I told him I wanted to study Plato in graduate school, you got to eat, right? But Mary symbolizes the contemplative life, an important part of life, a life spent listening and thinking, searching for what is true, beautiful, and good. To be fully human, to be liberated from the cares of this world, requires you to feed your soul. You must spend a lifetime doing what we asked you to do in class every single day. Pay attention. Listen to others. And most importantly, do the work. But the work is not limited to what everyone else in the world thinks is success, getting the job or the next promotion or your share of the material things. No, to be a good human being, the work has to include a serious effort to acquire the habits of virtue. We are not put on this earth simply for material pleasure. We are put here to be happy. And to be happy, we must feed our soul on those pleasures that do not fade with time. That is why Jesus called Mary's part the better part. So let me close by returning to the question, what should you do next? For me, the Old Testament prophet Micah had a pretty simple and compelling answer. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. We have tried to liberate you from the cares and the worries of this world so that you will be ready to search its signs and wonders for the truth about things. So search, but do it with justice. Do it with a loving kindness for every person you meet. And most importantly, never forget to walk humbly before your God. If you can do the work of becoming successful and good, your life will point others to the things that matter most. And that will be a life well spent. And that might just be something that can change the world. We'll be here if you need us, but get going and good luck.
He's my favorite guy.